Hello and welcome back to America Right Now. I'm Tom Basile. We've got a lot coming up in this final hour, so we're going to get right to it. Over 40,000 evacuating Gaza and evacuating Al-Shifa Hospital overnight. This is the largest hospital in Gaza. This comes following at least one explosion that rocked the hospital overnight, killing at least 13 people. Israeli military forces are converging on the medical center in Gaza City as they say it, as well as others, are being used as Hamas command centers. We are bringing in, for her reaction, Ohio Republican Congresswoman and member of the House Veterans Affairs Committee, Miller-Meeks, and on this Veterans Day, also a 24-year Army veteran. Thank you, Congresswoman, for your service. Congresswoman, President Biden has announced that he will meet with communist dictator Xi Jinping in San Francisco this coming week. What needs to be the message the U.S. has to send to China there at a time when its allies are actively engaged now in two significant conflicts around the world?
Well, as we know, and we heard from Defense Secretary Bob Gates, Biden as the VP had been, and as a senator, had been wrong on every foreign policy decision over 4 decades, and he's continued that as president. We need to, convey to Xi Jinping that the United States is not retreating from the world stage, that we are going to defend our allies, despite the blunders President Biden made in withdrawing from Afghanistan and the blunders he made in trying to get back into the Iran nuclear agreement. So make no mistake about it, when the U.S. recedes, there is a vacuum, and that invites aggression. So the best defense is a good offense. We need to help with Israel, supply them the weapons that they need. We need to do that in a timely manner. And we need to have no daylight between our support for Israel and the moral clarity that Israel being attacked on October 7th with beheading of children, raping of women, taking after innocents at a concert, that is not the same as Israel being able to defend themselves by going into Gaza and eradicating Hamas. We know that Hamas is a proxy, but China is watching both what is happening in Ukraine, and they are watching what is happening in Israel, and they are salivating. I agree with that comment. They're salivating because they see an opportunity now with this nexus that they have, an alliance with both Russia and Iran and then China.
Congresswoman, you talked about the best defense being a good offense. This last week, Iran-backed Houthi forces in Yemen shot down an American Reaper drone. U.S. bases have now been attacked more than 40 times since the October 7th massacre. The Biden administration's response this week was to bomb an empty weapons depot used by Iranian proxies. Why are we not responding forcefully? And won't that ultimately increase the danger not only for Israel, but also for our own military if we don't?
Yeah, we're in it's a predicament where, again, weakness on the president and wrong foreign policy decisions by this president have led to increased aggression. We saw that under the Obama administration with Russia going to Crimea, and we see this once again with the Biden administration. So, increasing our arms, we have bills over in the Senate, appropriations bills. We have a Department of Defense, MILCON VA. Those bills need to be passed. There's funding in there for Israel. We need to make sure that we have increased aircraft carriers, increased planes, and that, we have a recruiting problem in the military right now, which is multifactorial, which does not help us. But we should be very forceful on our support for Israel, and we need to be backing off on any agreements with Iran. Ultimately, we know that the Houthis in Yemen, we know that Hezbollah in the northern areas and in Lebanon, and then Hamas are all proxies for Iran.
Congresswoman, real quick, because I just have a few seconds left with you. You talk about funding. We are now 6 days away from a partial government shutdown over funding. Talk to us about the GOP majority's plan to address this budget impasse, and do you think that there will be a shutdown?
I think given how, this situation is worldwide, given the security that's at risk, and you were talking earlier about the border. Certainly in the United States, people feel very insecure. They're looking for strong reaction and leadership from this administration. So when it comes to the government shutdown, I think timing-wise, given all of the chaos around the world, battles on multiple fronts, that this is not a time to have a government shutdown. It's not the right signal to send. Having military members and Border Patrol agents on duty without getting pay and not knowing when they're going to get their family members are going to get their pay to be able to survive and live.
Right.
I think that is just absolutely the wrong signal. I know that Speaker Johnson is looking at this very carefully. We'll be having a conference later today, and I think that what we're going to hear is that there is a plan to go forward that can get GOP support and won't get denied by the Senate and then jam us up with a Senate bill, which would have a large amount of funding.
And you got to get 60 votes in the Senate. It's a tall order. Iowa Congresswoman, and well, maybe I'm going to call you Colonel. Let's say Colonel Marionette Miller-Meeks. Thank you so much.
Thank you
and happy
so much.
Veterans Day
and
to
let
you,
me say, thank goodness for all of our veterans who have given us the liberties that we have. So they deserve our support, our dedication, and our acknowledgement.
Thank you, ma'am. Absolutely.
Thank you.